Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You saying they should stop politicization.
Honestly, that's all the problem.
Honestly, Alfred, Samuel Dubik Mahama, I pity him because he has started so well in building a certain public confidence in the ECG and the power sector. His determination to, as it were, go collect his light bill from people, I mean, made me feel that, look, Ghana would work with the appointment of the right people to the right places. I have a lot of respect for him, a lot of admiration for him and the hard work that he was doing. But unfortunately, what is happening now is eroding the public confidence in the hard work or in the ECG and the kinds of things that he set out to do. It's eroding the public confidence. Tomorrow, what will be your justification to go knock at the door of people demanding that they pay their life? So the public confidence that is being eroded worries me. But you see, let me say this. I'm doing a certain research project that so takes me out of my home to a place that is serene, that I can keep writing. And honestly, because they have a power plant, lights don't go off there. And so for some time, when people were talking about doomsday, I thought that they were just making it was doing something too much. I mean, why are you always complaining about doomsday? And so it went on. I've been there for some time. I don't stay in my own home, just trying to finish a certain write-up. Until recently that I visited my mother. And I was talking to her and then power went off. And I said, okay, so we sat from morning till evening. In the evening somewhere, power came and we're happy, talking. It went back. It went off again. And then it didn't come till the following morning. It came briefly and then it went off again. And so I started thinking about it. That was this what we've been experiencing and people have been talking about. And my view is that, you see, even me, I didn't know the negative or the impact or the effect because I'm working somewhere where power doesn't go off. But what I want to say is that, you see, when we select or we elect leaders and we ring fence them from the problems they are elected to solve, the problems do not get solved. What am I trying to say? See, the kind or caliber of people who are leading us, I'm not sure they are experiencing doomsday. Because, I mean, for starters, everyone will have a genset that automatically comes on when power goes off. And so if you don't appreciate the problems that people feel, it becomes difficult for you to fashion out a proactive solution to the problem. You would tend to pussyfooty the problems and always trying to manage it, talking people like you're saying, talking grammar with the view to just postpone a proactive solution to it. A developing country like Ghana, in my view, must be led by people who live with the problems and who understand the problems. And so in trying to select leaders to lead us, we must be careful. Let's look at their background. What have they done before? Do they understand our problems? Do they identify with our problems? This is what we have to do in selecting people. If you want leaders who will be able to deal with doomsday, they should be leaders who have experienced doomsday and they continue to experience it. And so in looking at the background, we should be careful that those we are selecting understand our problem. We should also be careful about those who would deliberately be drinking KALYPO to symbolize identification with the problems of the masses. Because some people, let me finish. Some people would deliberately go and be drinking KALYPO to tell Ghanaians that, look, we identify with you. We should be careful in looking at them. Look, let me say this. You see, despite his military background, and his military bravado. Rawlings feared the people. Let me tell you this. You can search. My mentor, Professor Fuajimandia, is here. Despite his military bravado and his military background, Rawlings was always concerned with what the people will say. He feared the people, the voices of the people. And that's how come one of the ways he deployed in ensuring that he dealt with his fear of the people was his identification with the people. So he identified himself with the people. Okay. Unfortunately, in a supposedly superior democratic system, far, far better than Rawlings's dictatorship, we do not want to hear the voices of the people and address their concerns. We don't even want to hear the voice of the people so that we'll be able to address their concerns. So officials of states and political apparatchiks of this particular government are now instilling a certain fear and panic in the people such that the people are now being forbidden. You see, you want to forbid the people from describing the situation in which they are going through. Now people are, I mean, yesterday somebody was telling me, hey, it's doom so bad, I'm afraid to even say it. See, now, so people are now being,
they're afraid to say it.
made to be scared in describing what they are going through. So now they say, don't call it doom so, call it this, don't call it that. Are you the ones to detect how we describe a problem we are going through? You see, it is the height of, I don't think that it is about doom so or doom sisi or whatever. What Ghanaians want is to keep Ghana, is for Ghana to be kept switched on. Whether it is doom so or doom whatever is inconsequential to what Ghanaians want. We are looking for a Ghana that is switched on. That is it. And so for me, it is arrogance to attempt to offer explanations to doom so and the situation we face, whilst also making us think that the others who we experienced doom so under them didn't have any explanation. As for you, as for this particular regime, there are explanations as to why the light goes on and comes on, goes off and comes on. But the other regimes, they didn't have any explanation, and so we shouldn't call. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. And so I am saying that in trying to elect leaders, in trying to submit ourselves to people to lord over us, we should always be careful in being sure that these are people who have lived our problems. These are people who understand our problems. If he has not seen doom so before, see, that's a challenge. I repeat, we have the penchant for selecting people to lead us, at the same time ring fencing them or protecting them, insulating them from the very problems they are supposed to be addressing. And if we do that, then these are some of the things we have. So you would have, look, I want to be quite charitable. There are certain things that popping up in my mind that I don't know. But the point is that it doesn't make sense, okay, for us as a nation to continue to experience doom so and then be offered explanations and to be forced to keep quiet about it. We don't like it, but you see, it's like we are beating you, but don't cry. If you cry, we'll beat you the more. So you are suppressing us. I think it is unfair. The minister's comments when he was asked about timetable, I am analyzing the chances of those who are expected to feature in the selection of running mates to Dr. Bawumia. I'm analyzing the chances. After listening to the minister and after reading from John Buedu that some front runners may be disappointed, I think I concluded that maybe he's no longer a front runner in the selection of who becomes a running mate. Yes, I'm saying that. Yeah,
John Buedu said.
Yes, I'm saying that. Yes, he initially, in my view, was among the key front runners, Okay, but after listening to his responses, watching his body language and the way and manner he went about, his responses, and then comparing it to what John Boydo has recently said, that some front runners may be disappointed, I felt that maybe he's no longer being considered, or he's no longer part of the front runners. But honestly, I mean, to be charitable, it's a nice man. To be charitable, I think that he could have been more sober in his utterances. Okay, as somebody that some people even were thinking about you, that you could possibly partner about me. He could have been more sober in his responses, and he could have shown a certain nationalism in his responses in a manner that would make people know that, oh, well, you care about the people of Ghana in addressing this particular national crisis. It's a national crisis. And so if you have the opportunity to speak to it, you should demonstrate a certain patriotism, a certain statesmanship, and a certain sobriety. That's the reason why anytime Akufo-Addo was coming to address us in our home during the COVID-19 pandemic, he said, fellow Ghanaians, you could see a certain sobriety in the way and manner he addressed us. And so you expect a minister of energy to be more sober in offering responses and not to demonstrate that boisterousness and all those. So with respect to, I think it could have been more sober in responding to this issue of national crisis. His responses, in my view, epitomized the arrogance of political power. And let me say that maybe a lot of people do not know, but when we were trying to analyze the factors that led to the electoral defeat of the the electoral outcome of the 2020 elections, after our analysis, we described the MPP's performance as a victory for the party, but with a taste of defeat. The MPP's performance in the 2020 election was a victory for the party, but with a taste of defeat. And one of the factors that we identified as accounting for that kind of performance was the show of arrogance by some appointees. And I thought that I would draw attention to it, that if you are seeking to break an eight and you are confronted with questionings about a matter that has plagued us into crisis, you become sober in your response. It is important for us to also point to the fact that, you see, it is this same attitude that made the ruling party lose its major constituency, academics. Okay? Formerly, if we're talking about MPP, MPP saw academics as a major part of them. Academics generally are conservatives, and then they are MPP in outlook. But this same attitude brought about the introduction of what we call a Public Universities Bill. And the way and manner they wanted, and it was under a minister, this same minister, the way and manner he wanted to force it down the throat of people, of academics, and the way we fought against it brought a certain frosty relationship between academics and then this particular regime. But it was this particular problem was brought about by the same minister. And so I'm thinking that in trying to lead, one must take a second look at how you publicly respond and carry yourself in a manner that does not show arrogance. Because after all, I mean, on what basis do you want to be arrogant to Ghanaians? Power does not belong to you.
Okay.
We gave your regime power and they appointed you. And so why will you want to be, because of what? Because you have what that we didn't give to you. And so please, with respect, I mean, I want to be charitable. I think that those duty bearers, those people who are privileged to have received political appointment to serve us, must always think about national interest. They must always think about words that would suit our pain and our frustration when they get the opportunity to address us, particularly when we are plagued with national crisis. You cannot go there and be talking, sounding like Ghana belongs to you. Ghana does not belong to you.
Indeed. Professor Gyampo, thank you. And number one, now, let me also say that Professor...
Whenever I say PENDREAM TV, PENDREAM TV, dear, I see them, yopo.